Waka, what's up, and welcome back to the channel for yet another FC Finch review, and it is Eaglemoss Friday, even though we just do Eaglemoss randomly. And today, we're going to be taking a look at the New Orleans class U.S.S. Kyushu, part of our Wolf 359 saga, all the random ships that were at the Wolf 359 massacre, and we are about smack dab halfway through them all, so 4 down, 3 to go. And so let's start off with this ship. So this ship, they actually did say the ship, I believe Lieutenant Commander Shelby, I forget her last name, the one that went on Riker's position. This is one of the ships with the Tolstoy and the Melbourne that she mentions when the Enterprise is flying into the remnants of the Wolf 359 massacre, and the ship is New Orleans class. And I'm going to start off right off the bat. This ship is a mixed bit. This ship is an example of an Eaglemoss model that looks great from 5 feet away. So let us get right into it. We'll waste no more time. And of course, we start off as always with a nice look at the magazine. And that's a really nice shot of the U.S.S. Kyushu. Kind of like a scaled down, it's essentially a scaled down Galaxy class almost in a way. It is a frigate launched in the 24th century. It is 340 meters long and a max speed of warp 9.3. And of course, our table of contents, the New Orleans class, designing the ship, Michael Pillar on the Best of Both Worlds, and on screen. And there we have our stand instructions as usual. And then we have a nice orthographic front view of the New Orleans class. Again, it is a frigate. It is piloted by Starfleet from the 24th century, 340 meters long, a crew of 500, and yeah, that's about right considering the Enterprise was just 50 meters or so shy. The original, not the Galaxy class, the Constitution class, excuse me. Warp 9.3, phaser emitters and photon torpedoes, and Captain Ricks, not sure who his name is. And then of course we have a few up close and personal shots of the New Orleans, a nice shot of the New Orleans, and New Orleans class vessels were like Galaxy class ships, both in appearance and ability, but about half the size. So yeah, it is a scaled down. And there we have Captain Ricks, and there it is. And then of course, moving on, we have another shot of the New Orleans class. And then of course we have, and I believe there it is. Yeah, there's the Kyushu right there, all beat up, and that's the only time I think we ever see a New Orleans class in all of the series. That we have those nice orthographic shots of the New Orleans class again. Really, really cool. One of those models. Believe it or not, I believe these were highlighters. Another highlighter ship. So yeah, the weapon pods were highlighters that they just painted and glued onto the model. And then of course we have some nice shots of the New Orleans class, and then of course there is the Kyushu model all beat up and all broken and everything, and then of course some nice shots of the New Orleans again. But yeah, I think this is a really, really cool ship. I've always loved the idea of a scaled down Galaxy class. And then of course the Best of Both Worlds, Michael Pillar, that epic shot of the Enterprise facing the Borg cube, and of course we got a few more shots of the TV series, and then of course Picard being assimilated, and then Locutus of Borg, and then Data trying to help Picard at the end, and and there we go. And there's another beat up shot of the Kyushu, and then of course we end it with a nice orthographic top view of the U.S.S. Kyushu. And let's talk about setting it up on the stand. And I didn't have to glue this one down. This one's pretty stable. It's just a short stubby little post, and you know how this goes right in there. It fits nice and firmly, no wobble at all. And then of course we have that fits right on the nacelle pylons right here, right by the star drive section. And so there you go, and there it is. And that'll sit nice and pretty. That's one plus of this model. It will sit nice and pretty once it's in the stand. Okay, and oh boy, here we go. So the Kyushu, and again, I really do love the layout of the ship. The model, though, leaves something to be desired. I'll start off right away. You notice how the nacelles are kind of tweaked back? I always talk about nacelle misalignment. They're aligned, kinda. And then you look at the front, And you kind of notice that it's all a lot like the weapon pods are all kind of misaligned. This nacelle's kind of going up and away. And then you kind of look at, you got like the nacelles are kind of bowed with this one up a little higher. Yeah, so that's what I kind of mean. I mean, I love the detail on the ship. Again, I think it looks great, but you know, and I think look at this. They use just a really flimsy material used for the nacelle pylons, and it's just, it won't break everything. I do love the little text on there though. The Kyushu 65491. I love that. I love the detail. But yeah, just not a good looking ship by any stretch. Saucer is die cast. I can feel it. It's like they basically sandwiched some die cast in between the plastic right here. So really, really cool. I'm not sure if these are escape pods. There's a lot of freaking escape pods. But notice, actually, no, that is pretty cool, because notice how they are all laid around the outside of the hull. So that's actually, I mean, again, a lot of escape pods does have a crew of 500. You know, I laugh at it, but I do think it's kind of cool. There actually appears to be some thought of this. So they kept the insides mostly for quarters, and they have like a section on the outside that's for escape pods as opposed to rows and whatnot. So that is actually a pretty cool layout for the ship. U.S.S. Kyushu, NCC 65491. So that is pretty cool. And then of course we got those classic weapon pods, and then they are outlined with a nice black. I'm not sure if that's a phaser strip on them. Either way, it looks pretty cool. And then of course you have the phaser strip all around. Had something similar to the Galaxy. That's where it kind of went all the way around. And of course, you had Dino Cat in the background. There's some nice molded detail for the bridge. Looks really, really, really good. I love that. And then we got that 65491, and I believe that is the shuttle bay, where that is. I love the positioning of, and we got like a nice strip of red. I mean, they didn't skimp on details with this model. I will say that. They didn't skimp on we got the nice red for the impulse drive. That looks really, really good. And then we got some nice detail here on the bottom weapon pod. Deflector is painted in a nice bright blue, a little brighter than eggshell blue, and it's got that nice kind of bronzish orange particle emitter. It looks really nice. And we got a nice phaser strip on here, some nice red and yellow detailing. I believe possibly for some RCS thrusters. I'm not sure. Might be. I'm gonna go out there. And then we got some transparent plastic sandwiched in for the Galaxy class style nacelles. Some nice transparent plastic for the Bassard collectors. Again, and no window misalignment, because of course we don't have any insets for the windows. Kinda. Okay, so I stand corrected. No, that's white. That appears to be white. Or at least an attempt at white. And other than that, just really super. I love the profile of the ship, love the layout. Got the escape pods, of course, down here. But unfortunately, this model is just really, really twisted and bowed, and just, again, looks great from 5 feet away, though, so I can't complain. I'm just, it's kind of a bummer, because I do think this is a really, really cool ship. It's one of the ships that, if they made a series based on a New Orleans class, I know everybody wants a series of everything, I would not complain, just because it's one of those awkward ships that I think fits so well within the Star Trek universe. It's just a shame that the model is kind of poopy. So there we go. And for a quick comparison, screw it, we're gonna bring it in. There she is with the with the Galaxy class Enterprise, and I think this is a perfect scale. I mean, lengthwise anyway. Height, I don't know. I think height might actually work on this. Again, I never really got a good height dimension on the ship, but for something that's half the size of the Enterprise is 642 meters. I mean, this is about right. It's a little bit bigger than half. So this looks to be like the right scale, for the ship. In fact, I think these scale very well together. So bravo, Eaglemoss, in that regard. These are really good. I mean, you compare these side by side, and they look so good together. Let me see if we can get it around from the front. We will one day do the Enterprise Galaxy. I just don't do the Galaxy class just yet because it's so obvious. You always expect the Galaxy class to be first because it's a staple of Star Trek. And that looks really, really good. So good job on the scaling for Eaglemoss. And for one final comparison, there is next to our Wolf 359 fleet that we've done so far. And yeah, that looks, you know, super business-like. They're off to fight the Borg and defend the Federation. Little do they know it. Oh man, I got the and of course, the ship being symmetrical, I had the Awani upside down all the time. So there we go. I mean, mostly symmetrical. But yeah, so there they are, and yeah, that looks absolutely cool together. So again, yeah, superb. So let's summarize, and there it is for the New Orleans class U.S.S. Kyushu, part of our Wolf 359 Federation ship saga. And yeah, again, what can I say? It's a mixed bag of a model. I love the detailing. I mean, it's got that nice detailing. I do like how it scales with the XL Enterprise D. It's just, I mean, this thing is really just, it's so twisted. I don't think the right materials were used for the pylons. It's not, at least on my copy anyway. I don't know about anybody else, but mine is just a twisted mess. And again, looks great from 5 feet away, but once you start getting up close and you just see visually that, wow, this is just, it's not that great of a model. Unfortunately, because I do really legitimately think Eaglemoss does great work most of the time. And that being said, I wouldn't, you know, I know I kind of range from what ships I say, hey, you know, if you're okay with splurging, go for it. I don't recommend splurging on the ship at all unless you're really a fan of the Kyushu, but in which case you're not getting that great of a model. But if it's something that you have to have, I guess go for it. But yeah, I would definitely try to get this for retail price if you can, if at all possible. And hey, you might be able to do that. You can check out realmerch.com. They get in stock of the remaining stock of the Eaglemoss ships all the time. Feel free to check them out. I'll put a link in the description down below. I will order something from them one of these days, hopefully probably next week, we will see. But that being said, if you like this video, please leave a like down below. It does help me out, and I thank you oh so much. And also consider subscribing to the channel. We're going right down the list of Eaglemoss Wolf 359 ships, so you don't want to miss it. We got 3 more to go, and yeah, if you subscribe, you'll be able to catch those episodes. Also, check out my Eaglemoss playlist. I'll put a link in the description down below to that, so you can see all the other ships I have done. They are quite plentiful now. Over 100, almost 100 videos. Woohoo! Not Eaglemoss and all kinds of other stuff, but there we go. And that being said, I have been FC Finch. This concludes this review. Thank you so much for watching. Live long and prosper.